The World Cup has been completed. I mean, group makeup wise, at least. So now we finally know what's going on at this World Cup and can finally start to really ruminate on these groups, really throw some predictions together, analyze the paths to the final. I can't wait to watch. Hopefully, there will actually be crowds at these matches, though. Hopefully, they drop the prices a little bit because it's still insane. But anyway, we'll go through the European playoffs, then the Intercontinental playoffs. I'm getting excited now. I'm really getting excited for this World Cup. And of course, there's a strangeness to it in some way. It's a World Cup in my own country, and yet everything is so prohibitively expensive, both the tickets and accommodations. The nearest host city for me is a 6-hour drive away, so I could stay at home and drive a lot, but that's not nice. And so there's a chance that I may not go to any matches. There's a chance that I may not go into any World Cup matches when it's in my own country. And honestly, I don't know a single person that has paid for tickets. There isn't a soul that I know that has tickets for this thing. I only know of journalists that will probably be going, or people who get through via a brand. But if I don't go, I don't go, because what I am excited for is going through this tournament with you guys again. The daily videos will be back. All of the previews and predictions you could ask for. Special dedicated videos for certain teams that will be competing. Live streams, all of it. It's going to be huge. I hope you guys join me for the ride. Sorry if I'm lower energy than usual. My son is sleeping in the next room, who, by the way, he's half Italian. Sorry, man. Overall, you have to applaud Kosovo for how they played throughout this qualification cycle, right? From pushing Switzerland all the way in their group, defeating Slovakia 4-3 in Slovakia, and then keeping it so close with Turkey. I mean, the goal that Turkey did score, very scruffy. You know, a mishit shot that was just turned in by Aktarkolu, who I miss at Benfica, to be honest. He was fun. So Kosovo were a scruffy goal away from themselves pushing it into extra time, but they really lacked composure around the goal in this game. But every time something looked promising in the box, the cutback would go behind the attacker to a defender. They would find an opening outside of the box and try to blast it in instead of some finesse, only to send the ball to North Macedonia. And let Turkey completely off the hook. And Turkey continued to be a bit of a weird side, right? Or I guess it's fairly obvious, actually. They are a side with gifted attackers, but a side that can absolutely get in trouble when it comes to their defending. I do not trust them back there at all, and stronger sides will make them pay, as, well, Spain did. Remember that? But still, their midfield is a ton of fun. Güler and Yildiz in the attack. They're a fun side from about the midfield forward. Turkey will be in Group D with the USA, Paraguay, and Australia, which is a pretty strong middle of the pack group. You know, not top teams, not the weakest here either, just a good middle of the pack group here. Teams who can cause issues for the big guns, but you won't see them win the thing. All teams that you could make arguments for advancing, right? Each one is capable of beating the other. It's very balanced. Unfortunately for the rest of the group, Turkey come in and they would have been a pot 2 team in the draw based on their ranking at the time of the draw. So there are 2 pot 2 teams in this group, Australia and Turkey. And I mean, the lowest ranked team, Paraguay at 39, very, very even group. Should be fun to see how it all plays out. Here we go. Bosnia versus Italy. Bosnia had taken part in 5 different playoffs coming into this. 5 straight failures in playoff scenarios. Now, only one of those was a World Cup playoff. The other 4 were for the European Championships. But I mean, you're playing against European opposition either way, so not much of a difference there, right? It was still 5 consecutive playoff losses. Italy, they come in with the albatross around their neck of the past 2 failures at this stage. They're making that run for 5, right? And what did they do? They went ahead and failed. And it's not even that they were completely outplayed by Bosnia. It was just a complete self-sabotage by them. You got to credit Bosnia. They still have to win the game, right? But Italy sabotaged themselves through Bastoni getting a red. Then those trio of missed opportunities to kill the game in the second half when they were a man down. And then in the shootout, I mean, in the moment, I thought it was a bad idea for Italy to send Esposito up first. A young guy who could be caught up in the occasion, who could crack under pressure. You want a confidence guy first, a sure thing, especially when you are kicking second. You want someone who you are confident can put this away because they have a track record. Because when you miss after your opponents just converted their first, you are suddenly way on the back foot. Shooting second is already a psychological disadvantage, and to miss, already your teammates are in the deep end of pressure and you just tied a weight to their foot. That's exactly what happened. I mean, Sandro Tonali was able to show composure as he is absolutely a cut above his current Azzurri teammates. But then as Bosnia were hitting stunning penalties, it came to Brian Cristante to do something, and he did. He hit it off the crossbar. Bosnia convert, that was game. Bosnia through to the World Cup for the first time since 2014, which was the last time Italy made the World Cup as well. And they did just as well as Bosnia and Herzegovina at that World Cup. Group stage exit, because not only is that 3 consecutive World Cups missed, which is a mind-blowing thing for a country like Italy, but before those failures, there were the group stage exits in 2014 and 2010. 3 failures in a row isn't a bad luck. It's the outcome of a failed system. And look, I did an entire video on the issues that Italy have from a grassroots level, in a sense, from a developmental level when it comes to players. If you want to check that out, it's a much more comprehensive look at things, but let me say this. In Serie A, Italian players make up just 31.5% of the total players in the entire league. At Como, Fabregas has given just 14 minutes to Italian players in Serie A. That should read just player, by the way. Just one player, 14 minutes this season as a whole. And they will maybe be in the Champions League next season. They will have a lot of figuring out to do for their stadium and squad. Look at the top clubs in Italy. Where are the top Italian attackers? Respect to Moise Kean, he's in fantastic form at Fiorentina. But there was a time where Italy had top attackers, and Serie A's top clubs do not have Italians in those positions. They'd rather transfer in attackers from abroad than give chances to their academy players. It's another massive failure, man. There are kids who are partway through getting a university degree, and they have never seen Italy in the World Cup knockout stage. There are 12-year-olds running around who have never seen Italy at a World Cup. Yes, celebrate Euro 2020 win, but the direction Italy is going in, down. I feel bad for someone like Spinazzola, who was in tears saying how this was his last chance to play a World Cup. It sucks for them. There are more like him in that Italy squad too, and it sucks for the kids who won't see Italy at another World Cup. So anyway, Bosnia and Herzegovina, they will go into Group B with Canada, Qatar, Switzerland, and, well, that's it. Only 4 in a group. But it'll probably be a close fight between Canada and Bosnia for second place behind Switzerland. That's my assumption, at least right now, in that Canadian opener in Toronto on June 12th. Hopefully, I will be there, but that will be so important for how the group plays out. This was a fun one, another one that went to a shootout as Czechia, I think, surprised some people, maybe just me. I should have seen the frailties in this Danish side. This is not the Kasper Hjulmand side of the old that would have taken care of qualification and played with some style. I mean, Denmark pushed Scotland in the group. They faltered at the last, but by their own comparisons, they aren't what they used to be, you know, back in that Euro 2020, year 2021 era. It was a back and forth game, with Czechia going ahead in the 3rd minute, Anderson equalizing in the 72nd, Krejci putting the Czechs ahead again, and Kasper Ho equalizing for Denmark once again in the 111th minute. Ho, by the way, the Bodo Glimt man who put in some great performances in their Champions League run as well. And in the shootout, it was just some poor penalty taking from Denmark. Højlund hitting the woodwork, Eriksson converts, great penalty, terrible strike over the bar in Jensen's case. Nice save on Dreher's kick, though. Credit Kovar there. So a 3-1 shootout win. You know there's some smelly penalties in a 3-1 shootout win. So Czechia make the World Cup for the first time since 2006. 20 years have gone by. We're talking the years of Jan Kulowski, Petr Cech, Jan Koller, The Tree, Rosicki, Nedved, Milan Beroš. That's all I've got. The names these days aren't as sexy. They absolutely have a chance of advancing from Group A, where they will play against Mexico, South Africa, and the Korea Republic. Another one where you can see anyone beating anyone. Hosts getting, you know, the best chances to move on. I realize I forgot to talk about Sweden earlier, so here I am, back recording. Sorry, Sweden, nothing personal. In fact, they've been pretty fun to watch under Graham Potter. They have some pretty talented players, and this is without Isaac. Lucas Bergvall is just getting back from injury as well. He only came on as a sub, so they have a talented squad. Now, this match against Poland was absolutely, I would say, more difficult than their match against Ukraine in the semifinal, but with the same hero in the end. A back and forth affair with Poland constantly clawing their way back into the game. A difficult night for Lewandowski, who was smothered by that Sweden back three. He didn't have a single shot in the box, just 2 efforts from distance, neither of them making it to the keeper. But back to the talent in this Sweden squad. Maybe I was a bit guilty of overlooking them. I'm happy to admit that, you know me. Because there's some great players in there. Ayari, whom you may know from Brighton, Borussia Dortmund's Daniel Svensson, Anthony Elanga, of course. I know Lagerbilk from the Portuguese league. Lindelof isn't a starter at Aston Villa necessarily, but he's still important to his national team. He's there. And then, of course, you have the man who starred during these 2 final qualifying matches, Viktor Gyökeres. He got a hat trick against Ukraine, where Sweden were happy to give up the ball and hit them on the counter. And they did the same against Poland, really, while facing many more difficulties in defense, but still, they were just as effective when Sweden would go forward. And Gyökeres showed some grit to fight for the winner. So, Sweden will be at the World Cup, and they are also in an incredibly interesting group, like a lot of these European transplants, as they will be in Group F up against Tunisia, Japan, and the Netherlands. Early expectations are that Netherlands will take the top, though that's not really a guarantee, right? Japan could also easily take the top. Tunisia and their defensive record will make themselves incredibly annoying to play against. Sweden have shown they can take a few punches and then kill you on the counter, so it will be a great, fairly open group. Now, this match was actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. I think most people expected DR Congo to win. I for sure did, but I was impressed with how Jamaica played, namely Pinnock, who had a great match in defense. He was a thorn in their side, and no, it didn't lead to a ton of opportunities, but Jamaica certainly had moments in that second half, at least, where they looked like they could get a goal. In the end, it was a set piece where DR Congo got their goal in extra time. Twanzebe able to just run through the box and side-footed in from inside the 6-yard box. Just brutal defending from Jamaica as he ran in without a marker on him. Well, Tyrese Hall was marking him, but let him get away super easily. DR Congo should have had more goals in added time when the game was super stretched and Jamaica had their entire squad forward basically, but they would either shoot when they should pass, Blake would make a save. Shooting when they should pass was the main issue. But hey, they made it through, and they can certainly be a tricky team at this World Cup, but they were handed a tricky group. Group K alongside Portugal, Colombia, and Uzbekistan. It's not going to be easy for them, but it's their first time ever qualifying for the World Cup, so a massive shout out for DR Congo. You really love to see a story like this, so happy for them, and Desabre has done a great job with his team over the years. Hey, you never know. Anything can happen, especially now with this World Cup having the best third place teams advancing. You never know. They could go from not making a World Cup ever to qualifying for one and making it into the knockout rounds. We'll see. Okay, so this match was in the middle of the night for a lot of people. Kicked off at 11 p.m. for me, which after being up since 6 a.m. working and being with the kid, I did not make it. I'm sorry. It's not a lack of respect. It's a lack of sleep or time. I wanted to see this. It's too bad. So the extended highlights are what I caught, and unfortunately I cannot really provide much of an opinion right now based on highlights. But from what I can glean from the statistics and the highlights, Bolivia showed up way better than I expected here in these playoffs. Of course, also looking at their win against Suriname. The free kick from the beginning of this match that Vizcarra and his incredible mustache managed to keep out of the Bolivia goal, that would have been a heritage moment for Iraq there. And they did score from the corner that followed, so they got their goal eventually from that pressure. Bolivia's Paniagua leveled lovely powered side-footed finish there, but in the second half, the captain, the strike partner to the first goal scorer, Ayman Hussein, finished off the square ball. That would be the winner to send them to the World Cup. Iraq appearing at the World Cup this summer, which would be the first time in 40 years actually. And as you probably know, 40 years ago, Mexico hosted the World Cup. I actually have a quick short on the history of a certain stadium, an iconic stadium in World Cup history that will be coming out early next week on Instagram and TikTok. So maybe I'll see you there. If you follow me, why not? Now, Iraq will be in a very, very difficult group, Group I, what many consider the group of death, and that's very understandable because you have France, Senegal, the champions of Africa, Norway, one of the top teams in European qualifying with one of the best strikers in the world, and then Iraq, Arab Cup winners. I didn't say anything about France, but I mean, their reputation goes without saying. Like I said, really excited to cover this tournament for you guys. The planning has already begun. I'm working to ensure this is my best coverage of a tournament yet. So, do stick around for that. Subscribe if you're new here and want to join my World Cup community. But beyond that, I will see you soon. And by the way, there will be more World Cup flavored videos coming out in the coming weeks and months prior to the tournament coverage even beginning. So stick around. We'll see you there. Take care, guys.